So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs in a very short span of time within 30 minutes. The idea is very simple. We want you to cover your current affairs on a daily basis, but we don't want you to spend your entire day just reading the newspaper. Therefore, we shall cover the entire day's current affairs within 30 minutes. Okay? Now, the thing is that just watching this lecture would be job half done, because just after watching it, you need to revise it as well. Why? Well, revision helps in consolidating these current affairs in your memory. Otherwise, you'll quickly forget them. Now, you can revise these current affairs from the notes provided by us, and these notes shall be shared on our Telegram channel. The link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section just below this video. So do check that out. Okay? And we shall begin today's discussion. But first, we need to take a look at the list of topics that we shall cover today, okay? So let's start. Alright then. So daily current affairs, 3rd July 2025, Thursday, and here's the list. Number 1 on this list is AI, that is artificial intelligence. We all know about this. I think nobody is confused what AI means, what's the full form of AI. Everyone knows this. So AI versus copyright law. And copyright law is a type of intellectual property right. So what is this debate around AI and copyright law? Now, AI has a lot of debates, okay? AI has dominated everything in whatever we discuss. AI is changing everything. How is it changing copyright law? Or how is it violating copyright law? We'll talk about this issue. It's a very serious issue, okay? Then second is, well, Supreme Court is going to decide on matter that can you inherit your OBC caste certificate from your mother? Generally, if you want your OBC caste certificate or SC caste certificate or ST caste certificate, certificate, well, you inherit that from your father. You take the caste of your father. This is the patrilineal heritage, or not heritage, but patrilineal, certificate process. The process is patrilineal. Clear? But can you inherit this caste certificate from your mother? Supreme Court is going to decide upon this matter, and it is a very serious issue, okay? Not just serious issue, it is a complicated issue as well. So we'll talk about the legal issues in this debate. Then India is set to launch its very first dengue vaccine, okay? Vaccine that will give you immunity against dengue. And dengue causes a lot of problems in India, especially during the monsoon season or just after monsoon, okay? So this vaccine is very important for the health of all Indian citizens. So what is this vaccine? Okay, it's called DengiAll. So what is this vaccine? It is called a tetravalent vaccine. So what do you mean by the term tetravalent? Questions can be asked in your prelims examination. So we'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll repeat the Dalai Lama issue, which we discussed in yesterday's lecture. Well, some new developments have happened with respect to the Dalai Lama issue. Okay, Dalai Lama has made some announcements. So with his announcements, he has basically announced that the institution of Dalai Lama is going to continue. And the next Dalai Lama would be decided by Gaden Phodrang Trust. Okay, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly, okay? Because I'm not familiar with the language. Nonetheless, Gaden Phodrang Trust, what is it? Okay, we'll briefly touch upon this issue because we have discussed this Dalai Lama issue in detail in the previous lecture. So for all of you who have not seen that lecture, I would sincerely advise you to go back and see yesterday's lecture, okay? We have discussed Dalai Lama issue in detail. Today we will briefly touch upon it and we'll know what this Gaden Phodrang Trust is, okay? That's about it. So these are the 4 issues that we shall zero in our attention on. Let's start discussing them one by one. Starting with AI versus copyright law. Now you see, well, AI has transformed everything. We all know about it. Artificial intelligence and these artificial intelligence models like ChatGPT, Midjourney, Perplexity, and many others. There are so many AI models, right? They have changed everything. Now, many people are optimistic about AI, right? They're happy that AI has come and AI will really make their lives easier. But many people are sad about AI. Many people are not happy with the AI developments that are happening all around us because they think that AI will snatch away a lot of jobs. And that's true too, because just within seconds, you just have to type something and it will generate stories, movie scripts. ChatGPT can generate a movie script, a story, a poem, original poem. Then there are some AI models that can generate songs in the voice of your favorite singer. There are some AI models like OpenAI Sora that can generate videos. Video editing can be done. Everything can be done by these AI models, and they are improving day by day. If you think that they are not up to the mark right now, well, it's a matter of time. They will reach that position where they perform better than the most skilled person, right? Now, with these generative AI models, the biggest issue has been that it will eat away the jobs of creative people. People who were writers, who used to write movie scripts, people who used to produce songs, videos, movies, their jobs are threatened. As AI improves more and more, their jobs are threatened. So this is the biggest issue, right? That AI will eat away all your jobs, especially the jobs that require the skill of your brain, creative jobs, right? But there is another issue, and that is related to intellectual property rights. Now, AI will take away your jobs. That's the biggest issue. But there is another issue, and it is equivalent to, well, not equivalent, but it is equally serious. And that is, well, AI or these generative AI models are also violating intellectual property rights, especially copyright. Now, what is this entire matter? Let's discuss this, okay? So, AI versus copyright law. Now, what is copyright law basically? Copyright law is basically an intellectual property right, okay? Suppose you created a song, okay, or you created a movie, or you wrote a poem, or you wrote a story or a script, movie script. Any of your literary or artistic work, any of your original literary or artistic work, which was the product of your brain's creativity, well, it is protected under copyright. Now, what do you mean by copyright? Suppose you wrote a song, you produced a song, you released that song. You will get or you will apply for a copyright on this song. Once you have a copyright on this song, no one can use your song. No one can use your song to earn money. Only you have the right to use your own song to earn money. Okay? Because you did a lot of hard work to produce this song. You spent a lot of money to produce this song. Therefore, it should be your property. That is why only you should be allowed to earn money from it. And if anyone else wants to earn money from your song, well, he needs to take a license from you. So anyone else can use your song to earn money. They can do that. But they have to take a license from you. And for taking a license from you, they have to pay a license fee. Right? So if anyone else is using your song, they're paying you. Okay? This is broadly what copyright is. It is basically an intellectual property right. It is your right over your intellectual property. It was your intellectual property. It was a product of your brain. Right? Now this is copyright. Clear? Now, what's the issue? You must have used ChatGPT. Everyone has used ChatGPT. Here it is, right? This is the window of ChatGPT. So you write any question and ChatGPT gives you a proper response, right? Within seconds. So you ask any question. You can even ask ChatGPT to write a poem like William Wordsworth on a topic called Russia-Ukraine war. So this ChatGPT will produce a poem as if William Wordsworth is writing it on Russia-Ukraine war. Yes, you can do all sorts of creative things. You can write a movie script, poem, story, everything. Similarly, there are other AI models like Midjourney who can produce fantastic images, as you can see over here in your screen. Then there are certain AI models that can produce videos, right? All of this can be done just on your command. Now, technically speaking, you should know this. Your command, the command you give to ChatGPT, Midjourney, or any other AI model is known as a prompt. Okay? Technically, it is known as a prompt. So, whenever you type a prompt, you get an answer from these generative AI models. Now, how is ChatGPT able to produce this original work, this new creative work? How are they able to produce this creative work on your prompts? The thing is that all these AI models, and these AI models are known as, remember this term, generative AI models. Why are they called generative AI models? Because they generate new content based on your prompt. So all these generative AI models are trained first and then they are released to the public. Now they are trained on data. Now this data can be songs, okay, well, chats of people, songs, chats, videos, all sorts of content that is available on the internet. Articles, news articles, everything. So whatever was available on the internet for free, first these AI companies trained their AI models on this data, humongous data. Once this AI was trained, then it was released to the public and now it can perform, as you can see, right? Now the issue is the people who wrote these songs, the people who, well, made these videos, the people who made some movies, the people who wrote those news articles, well, these people had copyright on their product, on their articles, on their songs. They had copyright. Now, AI models or these AI companies, these tech companies are using their songs to produce their AI models and earning money from it. So the authors of these articles, the producers of these songs, the producers of these videos and movies, they are saying that these AI companies, these tech companies are violating our copyright law. Copyright. They are violating our intellectual property right. Okay? And they are not even compensating us for it. So this is a violation of our copyright. Therefore, well, these tech companies are wrong. And in USA alone, well, many of these authors, producers, they filed lawsuits against these tech companies. Okay? They have filed lawsuits against these tech companies saying that you have violated our copyright law, copyright right. Okay? So this is the issue. Clear? You understand? Clear? You are using our material to produce AI models and earn money from it. So in a sense, you are violating our copyright law, copyright act, right. Okay. Now, they have filed cases even in India. Well, some authors, some journalists have filed cases against OpenAI, the maker of ChatGPT. These are being done. Okay. The issue is copyright. Clear? Now, all these tech companies are arguing that we are permitted to use your content for producing AI models under fair use clause or fair dealing clause. Now, what is fair use clause? Understand this. Okay. Tech companies are saying that we are not violating your copyright because we are permitted to use your content under fair use. Now, what is fair use? Hear me out carefully. Tech companies are saying that we are using your content to produce foundational AI models. We are using your content to produce AI models. These AI models are benefiting humanity. Okay? They are for the progress of humanity. So these AI models shouldn't be looked at or shouldn't be viewed as a profit mechanism for us. They should be viewed as path-breaking research and progress of humanity, from the perspective of progress of humanity. Okay? So these AI models are advancing science and technology for humanity. Okay? And because this usage of your content is progressing or is helping humanity progress, therefore it comes under fair use. Now, under fair use clause of any copyright law, it says that if you are using the content of someone else's intellectual creativity, okay, if you are using someone else's content for the benefit of humanity, that counts as fair use and that doesn't count as violation of copyright. So these tech companies are saying that, well, these AI models are not just profiting us, they're also benefiting humanity. So it comes under fair usage and therefore we are permissible. That's their argument. In fact, this term fair usage is termed as fair dealing in India. In India, it's called fair dealing. And how so? Hear me out carefully. This is important for you. Now, in India, copyright is protected under Copyright Act 1957. Under this Copyright Act, there is this Section 52. The title of this Section 52 is Fair Dealing. Now, this fair dealing is pretty similar to fair usage. Okay, it is pretty similar to fair usage. Okay, same thing. In India, just remember this, that in India, it's called fair dealing. Under fair dealing clause, well, it is said that if you're using someone else's content for your private usage, you're not selling it anywhere, you're using it for private usage. Okay, so if you're using it for private usage, if you're using it to use, if you're using it for research and development, okay, for doing scientific research, if you're using it to report on current news, if you're using some journalist's article to report on some current news event, all these things are categorized as fair dealing and they are permissible under Copyright Act. Clear? Make sense? So the argument of tech companies is that we fall under fair use, fair dealing. The argument of all these authors, producers is that this is not fair use. You are misusing our content. You are basically using our content without paying us any compensation. Now, who is correct? Who is false? The matter will be decided by courts. American courts are currently delivering judgments on this, but now even Indian courts have jumped into the scene. Indian courts are also delivering judgments on this because many cases have been filed. Many journalists in India have filed cases against OpenAI. Then there was this entire AI versus Mohak Mangal debate, right? All these things are going on right now. Clear? So our courts would also deliver a judgment, which is very important because AI is a reality now. Okay? AI pervades everything. It is everywhere. So we need clarity on the legal issues with respect to AI, especially the copyright issue, right? So Indian courts, the matter is still being debated. So Indian courts would deliver a judgment and that would give us more clarity. Let's see what happens. But the matter is in Indian courts, in American courts, and in courts all over the world, right? It is a serious issue. Now, well, two big questions need to be settled by the courts. Number one, well, AI versus jobs debate, because a lot of creative people are going to get unemployed. Okay, so how will we solve this problem? And then AI versus intellectual property rights debate. This matter is going to be decided by courts. Let's see what happens. These are the two big questions that are troubling people when it comes to AI. Otherwise, people are very happy with AI. But these are the only two questions which make people skeptical about AI, which make people think that AI is not good, right? These are the two questions. Let's see what happens. The future is exciting. Let's see what happens. Okay. And now let's quickly shift to second news item, which is OBC Caste Certificate from mothers. Now hear me out carefully. Okay. What is the issue? The issue is very simple. The thing is that, well, we all know that SC certificate, ST certificate and OBC certificates, these are important for people because they help you get jobs, admissions in higher educational institutions, right? Now, there are proper guidelines as to how you will get these certificates, okay? How kids or how people can get these certificates. Now, the guidelines say that when you are applying for your OBC certificate or SC certificate or ST certificate, well, you have to attach your father's SC certificate, your father's ST certificate, or your father's family's SC, ST, OBC certificate along with your application form. Because the government wants to verify, are you a OBC or not? Are you SC, ST not? Right? Now, these are the guidelines. Now, the thing is, the problem is that what if the person is a child of a single mother. Okay, father is no longer there, or you are not in communication with your father. Now your mother has an SC certificate or ST certificate or OBC certificate. The question is, will you get an SC, ST, OBC certificate? Okay, because the guidelines say that if you want to apply for OBC certificate or SC, ST certificate, you have to attach your father's certificate. But you're not in communication with your father. Can you attach your mother's certificate? That is nowhere written in the guidelines. Therefore, whenever someone applies for OBC certificate by attaching their mother's certificate, well, that application is rejected. Now, recently, a woman in Supreme Court filed a case. Okay, and she said that, well, I'm a single mother. Okay, I am an OBC. I have raised my kid alone. I have raised my child alone. He has been raised as an OBC. All the values, everything. Okay, I'm a single mother. So the kid is raised as an OBC. Now, you are not allowing my kid to get the OBC certificate based on my OBC certificate. This is a violation of right to equality. And Article 14 guarantees right to equality. So my kid's right to equality is getting violated. This is also again against gender equality, right? So this case has been filed in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has decided a date to hear the arguments in this case. Okay, this is the issue. So in the month of July, Supreme Court is going to decide, can you inherit your caste certificate from mothers as well? Because the current guidelines don't allow you to do so. So what's this issue? Let's talk about it. I hope you understood the background, right? So this is the issue. So OBC caste certificate from mothers, clear? That is the case. And the question, the reason why it is in the Supreme Court is, well, it is being questioned on the grounds of Article 14, which is right to equality. That if you are not allowing inheritance of caste certificate from mothers, this is a violation of right to equality. It is a clear case of gender discrimination, okay? And it is also a violation of right to life, Article 21. Right to life of the child, because you're not allowing the child, even though he belongs to the OBC community, because he was raised by the OBC community. Even though that is the case, he's not getting the rights available to all OBCs. This is violation of right to life and right to equality also. Okay? On the basis of this, the case has been filed in the Supreme Court. Now, as you know, if your fundamental rights are getting violated, you can directly approach the Supreme Court. Okay? For any other reason, you have to approach the lower courts, high courts. But if your fundamental rights are getting violated, Article 32 of the Constitution gives you this right to directly approach the Supreme Court. Now, this case involves Article 14 and 21, which are fundamental rights. So that is why the case is in Supreme Court, right? Now, well, the court asked for government's response, and the government said that the current guidelines are based on your own judgment. So the government told the Supreme Court that the current guidelines are based on your own judgment, on the basis of Supreme Court's judgment in 2012. Now, what was that judgment? In 2012, there was this case in Supreme Court, okay, which was known as Ramesh Bhai Dabhai Naika versus State of Gujarat. This was the case. And in this case, the Supreme Court gave its judgment, okay, and there were following important points that were given in this judgment. Clear? Number one is that if a lady marries a person, let's suppose a lady who belongs to SC, ST, OBC community, marries a person belonging to forward caste, let's call them forward caste, okay, her SC, ST, OBC identity won't get diluted. She will still remain SC, ST, OBC, and she can still apply for certificates and apply for government jobs under reservation. So her SC, ST, OBC identity doesn't get diluted, even though she has married a forward caste person. Clear? So-called forward caste person. So she can retain her certificates even after marriage. This was made clear in this case. The second was that children of such a couple, okay, kids of inter-caste couple, So kids of intercaste couple would inherit caste of their father, not their mother. This was made clear by Supreme Court. This is known as patrilineal. So your identity, your lineage is coming from your father's side. Okay, this is patrilineal. So a woman's identity won't get diluted, but the kids born of this intercaste couple would get the caste of their father. If their father belongs to SC, ST, OBC community and mother belongs to forward caste, the kid would belong to SC, ST, OBC community. But if the father is from forward caste, the kid would be from forward caste. Okay, but the Supreme Court gave an exception. And that exception was that if the couple is divorced or for any other reason the mother has become a single mother and that kid is raised like an SC. Okay, so for example, if there is a divorce, so the mother takes the kid away, okay, with her to her family. Her entire family is SC, ST, OBC or her community, and that kid is raised in that community. So for all practical purposes, that kid should be categorized as SC, ST, OBC and he should get that certificate, he or she. Okay, because he was raised by a single mother. Clear? So if a kid is raised by a single mother in her own community, they can be eligible for the mother's certificate. But this is an exception, and the courts decided, the Supreme Court said that this will be decided on a case-to-case basis. We will look into the matter. We will investigate the matter whether this kid is raised by a single mother in her own community. All the things would be looked at. Only then we will grant the certificate. Okay. So this will be looked at on a case-to-case basis. Right. Therefore, the government said that our guidelines are based on this judgment. As per your judgment, we have asked our guidelines, have asked for an application form in which you attach the certificate of your father. Okay. Because the issue with respect to your mother's caste, whether your mother is a single mother and all that, that issue will be decided by you. The courts have said we will decide it on a case-to-case basis. That issue will be decided by you. That is why we haven't brought this issue in our guidelines. Our guidelines include only, you have to attach your father's certificate. Okay, because if your mother is a single mother, you can inherit your mother's certificate, but that would be decided by the courts on a case-to-case basis. That can't be decided by our guidelines. So the government said that please you decide on the matter. We will change our guidelines and amend our guidelines. Right? This is the entire issue. And this mother who has filed a case in the Supreme Court is also asking for an amendment to these guidelines, because she wants to give the OBC certificate to her child so that that child can get the benefit of reservation. Right? This is the entire issue. Make sense? That's about it. Okay. So remember Article 14, Article 21, Article 32. This is important. That's what you need to gather from it. Okay. All right. And now let's move on to third news item, which is, DengiAll Indigenous tetravalent vaccine. So look, dengue is a very big issue. Okay. Many people die because of dengue and many people are hospitalized because of dengue. And dengue is caused by a dengue virus, right? And it is quite prevalent, especially during monsoons, because during monsoons, you all know that dengue virus comes to us, infects us through a mosquito bite, right? And monsoon is a period where all these mosquitoes multiply and people are bit by these mosquitoes. That is why dengue season is a season around monsoons only, because mosquitoes multiply. Nonetheless, it is a big health issue, okay, for India. Now, so far, India has not been able to provide immunity to its own population. Okay, very simple, because there is no vaccine that exists for dengue. But now India is in advanced stages of developing this vaccine and giving this vaccine to people so that people would be immune from dengue. So next time the mosquito bites them and dengue virus enters their body, they won't be affected. It won't be able to cause dengue fever. Clear? So this vaccine is in advanced stages of development. It's called DengiAll. So let's talk about it, okay? So DengiAll, India's indigenous tetravalent vaccine. Alright? Now remember this, very important, why we have included this word tetravalent. First of all, you need to know what these vaccines do, right? The purpose of a medicine is to cure you. So if there is a medicine, a drug, when you are sick, that medicine cures you, okay? So a medicine is curative in nature. It cures your disease. But a vaccine is preventive in nature. When you are given a vaccine, that means we are protecting you from getting that disease in future. It is preventive, so that you don't get that disease in future, okay? Medicine is curative. Now, how do vaccines work? You see, our immune system is pretty strong, okay? So whenever you are infected with any bacteria, virus, your body starts to produce antibodies, okay? Your immune system starts to produce antibodies, and once your body has enough antibodies, you're immune from that disease, okay? Your immune system is trained, like AI models are trained on data. Similarly, when you're infected, your immune system is trained on that virus, bacteria, and then for a considerable time in future, you won't be affected by that bacteria or virus, even if that bacteria virus enters your body. Now, this immunity that your immune system, this training that your immune system has reached can be forever, can be for 1 year, 6 months, depends on the disease. But your body does get immune. Your immune system does get trained on this data of bacteria and virus, right? Now, how do vaccines work? These vaccines work on the similar principle. Let's suppose you got a dengue virus, your immune system fought against it, you were sick for a few days, but you recovered. Now your immune system is trained on the dengue virus. Now you won't get sick of dengue for a considerable time in future. Okay, that training would last for a considerable time in future. Now what do vaccines do? These vaccines will contain either dead virus or weak virus. Alive but weak virus. It can be bacteria also or any other microorganism, but currently we are talking about viruses, okay? Now when this dead virus or weak virus enters your body, your immune system gets trained, okay? But you don't get sick also, because the virus is either dead or weak, so you don't get sick, but your immune system gets trained. So now when actual active dengue virus will come to your body, your immune system is trained. Clear? It will fight off that dengue virus, you won't get sick. That's how vaccines work. Clear? Makes sense? Yes, you understand this, you have this background. Now let's talk about these vaccines. So about the vaccine, so this dengue vaccine is developed by Panacea Biotech in collaboration with Indian Council of Medical Research. Okay, it will be India's first indigenous dengue vaccine. Okay, second, it will be a live attenuated vaccine. Remember, I told you that, well, you can either introduce live weakened virus or dead virus, right? I told you this. So this DengiAll vaccine will have live weakened virus, live attenuated vaccine. Clear? Now the problem with dengue is that dengue virus is of 4 types. These 4 types are known as serotypes. Okay, then 1, then 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 types of dengue virus. Now if your vaccine contains only Den 1, then you will get immune against Den 1 only. What if your dengue virus that infects your body is Den 2? Then you will get fever, then you will get sick, right? Now this DengiAll vaccine, the reason why it is called all vaccine is because it contains live attenuated virus of all 4 serotypes. So it gives you immunity against all types of dengue viruses. That is why it is called DengiAll. So now there are only 4 serotypes of dengue virus. So that is why it is called tetravalent. It is effective. It will provide you immunity against all 4 types of dengue viruses. Clear? So understand these terms: tetravalent, live attenuated. Okay, makes sense? Now, what was in the news? In the news, it was what was written in the news, that this DengiAll vaccine is in its final stages of getting approval. Now, for any medicine or any vaccine to get approval, it needs to go through clinical trials. Now, these clinical trials have 4 phases. What are those 4 phases? Only after you complete 3 phases, you get approval to sell this vaccine or medicine in the market. No medicine or vaccine can be released without tests or clinical trials. Okay. Now, what are these clinical trials? So, phases of clinical trials. So, there is this phase 0, when you test this vaccine or medicine in your lab. Then you have to test it on people. Now, there is phase 1. Phase 1 is basically a test on 10 to 80 volunteers, people, to just test the safety of this vaccine. Are there any adverse side effects or not? Just to test the safety. Then, phase 2 involves a larger group of people. So, tests are done on a larger group of people. Okay, to test the safety again and how much dose should be given. Okay, 500 mg, 1 g, 250 mg dosage is decided. Then, phase 3 is on a larger group of people. As you can see, up to 3000 participants. And you test safety and effectiveness, whether this medicine or vaccine is effective or not. Okay, so you check the effectiveness. Once the result of phase 3 are out, then you get approval. And then you can sell the drug, medicine or vaccine in the market. And then comes phase 4, which is also known as the market phase. Okay, now this medicine is being sold in the market. Okay, people are consuming it. And if there are any complaints about side effects, or are there any complaints with respect to this medicine is not effective, all these things would be monitored by the pharmaceutical company. This is known as phase 4. Phase 4 is actual post-release phase. Clear? Now, this DengiAll vaccine is in advanced stages of phase 3. So, it is about to get released. That was in the news. Okay. Now, one more term is important for you to understand these trials, phases of clinical trials. These are called randomized controlled trials. Now, in all these phases, when you test a particular medicine or a vaccine on a group of people, right? You do that through randomized controlled trial. Now, what is this randomized controlled trial? Okay. Well, you take a group of people. Okay. You divide them into 2 groups. Treatment group and control group. Randomly. Treatment group and control group. Okay. Now the pharmaceutical company will give its new medicine to treatment group, and the control group will get the existing treatment, whichever treatment existed for this particular disease. So control group will get existing treatment or no treatment at all. Treatment group will get this new medicine. But the people in both these groups won't know whether they are in control group or treatment group. They would be unaware. They don't know in which group they are, and they don't know what type of medicine they are taking. The organizers know, but people don't know. Now, in the treatment group, the actual vaccine or the medicine is given, okay, and then results are released. Based on these results, you find out how effective your medicine is, because if your medicine is effective, most of the people in treatment group are improving. If it's not, then they're not improving. This is known as randomized controlled trial, and this randomized controlled trial is done in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Clear? Phase 3 of clinical trials. Phase 4, obviously, it's a post-market phase. Okay, it is the market phase. So in that it is not conducted. But this is the randomized control trial. Know about this also. Clear? Okay. And last but not the least, and we won't spend much time on this 4th topic, and that is Gaden Phodrang Trust. We have already discussed everything related to Dalai Lama and the China issue, everything. Okay. Now, I told you yesterday in yesterday's lecture, if you don't know about this, please watch yesterday's lecture, okay? Now, in that, I told you that Dalai Lama is going to reveal on his 90th birthday that whether he is going to continue with the institution of Dalai Lama or not, right? He told that. Now, well, his 90th birthday is approaching on July 6th, but even before his 90th birthday, he has made an announcement that yes, the institution of Dalai Lama is going to continue. That means we are going to have a 15th Dalai Lama after the 14th Dalai Lama's death. Okay, we are going to have a 15th Dalai Lama, and this 15th Dalai Lama would be chosen by Gaden Phodrang Trust. Okay, so within Tibetan Buddhism, there are three institutions: Gaden Phodrang Trust, Gaden Phodrang Foundation, Dalai Lama Trust. All these trusts or organizations work for the welfare of Tibetan Buddhists all over the world, right? Now, the 14th Dalai Lama has said that the next Dalai Lama would be chosen by Gaden Phodrang Trust. That's it. Okay, rest of the details would be given in your notes. It's not a very important issue. Just know about it. Just remember the name and just remember what was the issue which we discussed in the previous lecture. Clear? That's it. That would be all. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. If you listen to this lecture carefully, it has definitely added value to your preparation. But it would add more value if you revise this lecture as well from the notes provided by us on our Telegram channel. So please do not forget to do that. And yes, be consistent and regular with this lecture series, because only if you develop a daily habit of watching current affairs, then only you have a good grip over current affairs, right? And this good grip over current affairs would serve you really well for your exams. Okay, so please be regular, please be consistent. And I would be signing off with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.